One day, today, the winner and the 2 days, today not tomorrow. Let's pray that tomorrow will bring us better weather. ICT Day and we proudly sponsored by USP, University of the South Pacific, Vanuatu Retail and Geohydrics Department, Vanuatu Tourism, Vanuatu Discover What Matters. Our gold sponsors include the Digital Vanuatu, House 8, Telstar Broadband, DBDC, Computer World, Reserve Bank of Vanuatu, Vanuatu National Telecommunication Union, TVL, Telecom Vanuatu Limited, Sharper Image, more Pacific Broadband Satellites. We're having one more main sponsored by essay competition for our secondary school students. Bring up our essay competition now by making our first one for Vanuatu. For fly, we go overseas. For starting with one satellite. We launch to go to space. Imagine. One Vanuatu person. Instead of go listen, launching for one satellite to go to space. It is just very, very unique. It's a very rare opportunity. Second prize and one more winners. Let's have a look how now is it in satellite. That's proudly sponsored by Pacific Broadband Satellites, which is currently based in Hong Kong. Our broad sponsors for Uni, silver sponsors including ANZ Vanuatu, Stanley Imports, and iTech Efficient Technologies. Bronze sponsors including CNS Vanuatu, Ecuador, United Vanuatu, Interchange, and Breakout, the very popular. Sorry to ask for whether I'm saying. The group was saying come out, so revolution on different cultures, or different people in Vanuatu, was saying that you should have different color umbrellas when you got your house. These are with our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Tolatuan, your hand, and so on the way. Please bear with us, we'll be launching very, very shortly. This is our program for you today, and we hope to us, you got no quiz, instant giveaways. And we're going to give you more questions to come for our members of the public. And so we're winning more prizes. Second, you will have 2 our panel discussions. Very, very interestingly, we've got panelists. We've got 2 panelists for you as well. We've got Mr. Simon Fletcher, the CEO of Interchange Vanuatu Limited. Mr. Prakash Bego, CEO from Telecom Vanuatu Limited. Mr. Simon Fraser, CEO of Digital Vanuatu Limited. Mr. Ron Smith, CEO of the Telstar Broadband. Mr. Greg Samuel, CRO of the Vanuatu government. We'll do Mr. Islam now, who is Director of ITS from University of the South Pacific. Some of our topics of our couple of panel discussions today, including our topics now. Session 1 on the status of submarine cable for user experience. Secondly, what ICT consumers say. You or someone consumer or user from ICT, what about thinking or comment to you? Session 3 about global trends in ICT and how they affect our world today. What about our global trend on ICT or how about only impacted or affecting you of our world? Section 5 on the mobile banking in developing countries. And with the mobile banking, you put the roots there. You got a bank, and you put the services and you got a mobile banking too. You can send you some transfer and cash, course includes National Bank of Vanuatu, Westpac Bank Corporation, recently the last minute, and the ANZ Government. Right on top of that, universal access from ICT for school connectivity. And this time I have a stage presentation on the top of that. Session 5, Telecommunication, online banking. Session 6, cyber security, level 1. Running now cyber security. Somehow, this is our work with Vanuatu. Session 7, in the rise of social media, in political life and social life. Session 9, government and other government benefits. And the final topic is ICT in disaster prevention, warning and response. Ladies and gentlemen, your box. At the same time too, Honorable Prime Minister Vanuatu, Mr. Now. Any countries? I think Prime Minister promoted ICT Day already. Even if he can say it will be a strong ICT Day. You're right. You know I just very much smile for putting back. Thank you very much. A warm welcome to Prime Minister A very warm welcome to all the ministers, dignitaries and VIPs, the CEOs, and all the leaders of the different teams and sectors of society that help put Vanuatu together. Good morning once again. My name is Afternoon, your moderator and MC for today. For the long time, I've been involved in my opening ceremony. And our opening ceremony today, I will welcome to the Prime Minister of the Union. I will welcome our speech from him. Also the Prime Minister, also the Country Minister, when he was responsible for ICT or telecommunications. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to our other works and
presently working in collaboration with the group. So this is like, we are looking at how to improve the education in Vanuatu, how to improve the day-to-day life of the people in terms of ability for them to sell the product and services in different markets. So we are also looking at, means and ways how we can improve the day-to-day life of the people using the software.
Thank you, Professor Simon. And I know Fred by Union of Sorrel Technologies Pata. Simon, your views, please.
Yeah, this is more a retail question, but in the context of international capacity that we are providing, I think it's important to focus that on Interchange's efforts in developing the Vanuatu Technology Park initiative. So this technology park is designed to attract foreign investment, direct foreign investment in establishing data centres in Vanuatu. Now, how is that going to affect local consumers? Obviously, we're in partnership with partners such as the Vanuatu Post to be able to distribute e-business products that are sold online here and transported to Vanuatu, manufactured here and distributed through the Vanuatu Post. We'll also have a requirement for websites to be located here. So websites will be developed, e-business websites, where people can go and buy products online. So there'll need to be a new wave of young, trained IT professionals that are capable of putting these websites together and servicing the demands of foreign investors that have established a presence here. So that's one other key area. The other key area is, of course, that the ability to attract these foreign investors to Vanuatu and take up wholesale capacity on the cable allows interchange, or puts interchange in a position where it has increased its demand, and it allows it to look at reducing its prices, obviously locally, because we have a much larger national demand for the product.
Briefly, for the audience, what's a data center?
A data center is essentially real estate. It's a piece of real estate that has a number of racks that house computers, and these computers can either store information as a backup center, or they'll use, as Brad was saying, many of the other reasons, storage, data storage, or for co-location and hosting, to provide services online direct to customers, or for banks or for others that wish to store their data. We've done, for example, in several locations.
So if another country, say Australia or Singapore, where would like to have a data backup somewhere, they could choose Vanuatu because we have a data center?
Well, that's right. They can choose Vanuatu, but right now we have a number of challenges. And we have a very high cost of power comparatively to other jurisdictions, and data centres use a lot of power. Computers generate a lot of heat, and we need to keep those computers cool. And to do that, we need air conditioning. And because of the hot climate, it's exacerbates the problem. So we need to focus on reducing those costs. That's right. Very challenging. But it would be, in a perfect world, which is what we're trying to set up, and even a scenario where we are able to provide services at similar costs or similar prices to Australians in Sydney, and then that puts us in a very good position to attract companies to Vanuatu.
Thank you, Samuel. Fred, I have a moment to explain, please.
Luis, I think two something. One in the user experience, and second one in the opportunity design. Before we touch with not there, and one cannot remember the sounds. I think before you was a good power of the ICT, but slowly and surely over the last few years, since the realizing the market, from what we can start the appreciating power of the ICT, we also want to enable. We want to have much less detail of, especially the agriculture, we promote and plant the sector, cocoa, copra, and we export commodity maybe. But especially the Prime Minister, the ministers, and we want something that in the next few years we stack up, and we can look to tap into opportunities. How do we tap into the unique resource we have to be for the council, to data center, to technology, how we must get to the area and participate in the whole market. And we want something where we speak and we closely work with them, with someone in the industry, and create the right policy on behalf of the minister when we carry the Prime Minister to plan the opportunity and technical and check learning. The second user experience with the opportunities. First of all, was the user experience. We answer partly to the app the policy data or app the private network. So from a policy perspective, we have government, especially through the telecom regulator, we can do something that we can do. One, we can improve the quality of service, the operator will provide it to the consumers, and secondly, by that one comprehensive intensive study to measure the coverage for mobile. Every area being different. In Europe, someone is saying, yes, we have 90%, someone is saying, the most particular environment. So, through laws for the outcomes that the project and plan for the good study and research, and of course, we work with the industry to make sure we can come up with the secondly, was at the government network. You make a fiber infrastructure, fiber network, and connecting to the premises for government. So it is a quality and very good from fiber and very reliable. However, you can plan the rules and security of the government network. You use a component called any site. You got the rules and regulations. So sometimes, unfortunately, some people are not happy from restricting some sites or websites when you look on them. When you're not happy, we share and disappoint. But we must probably regulate the content internet or public office for government. And often, sometimes we got abuse. Sometimes we got abuse. We write straight to the DG or direct the consent to let them get the service solution using internet and curriculum. Then also user experience. Secondly, we also have opportunities. For ministers and programmers and distinguished place with the audience who start with it. The nationalized deeply and the right talent, the private priorities. Priority one in the ICT in education. So I believe so for the industry too, and I agree with the government in one top priority. So 15 schools will be rolled out, and other secondary schools will be targeted 83 secondary schools. If we connect all those secondary schools, the new year 10 and year 12 leavers could leave school.
Many meetings with government. From periods I want to add that, in the past when there was a era on the telephony, it was like people going
Cybersecurity and UAP policy. You will make a full up to achievements since 2008. And we believe again started it, but plan something more, you will make it move forward. Prakash will talk about one stakeholder. We want them to support the Prakash to send and very important we must work together. Industry we have one very good, important that we will contribute to support the mortgage and very important to contribute to support the mortgage regulator and contribute to maintain an independent status for regulator. It is very important we establish the industry on time to help them on top to how long to be submitted insurance by 2018. We will achieve code establishing the discipline.
Thank you, everyone. Now summarizing this panel discussion, status of submarine cable user experience. One start with the 3 floor policies. Thank you to Master Government. We are making 3 floor clear policies: the National ICT policy, the cybersecurity policy, and the universal access policy. Where we give him way more units to bringing in different kind of developments inside the ICT. And we will end in submarine cable first of all. Indicator challenges is that. Can you bring in all kind of technology concern? In meaning say you must find different ways, really so making say cut uptake this technology and infrastructure where you want investment in the first place. Listeners out there, coverage for the quality of service and not big one bring you listen and it's extremely important that you making one measurement to any service and how much area long Vanuatu have we covered so far. How much the people were actually covered by telecom services, or actually got quality of services or not. You got all agencies or institutions or workers and TRR and OGCIO. And the audience out all established now, suppose you got anything, to give it mobile coverage or quality of service, make them sure you make them think where you will know what telecom regulators office, because at present they start conducting one mobile coverage test. And also we respect the quality of service. So you can basically input your TRR, give him quality of service. And also no side block content. When we talk about content too, no display panel, we talk about now you get high speed cable and stuff now, big capacity stuff. But then one and next, you need the driving demand, you need the driving content and all applications. No school, no health, no agriculture, no education, no sports, no kind industries where you need ICT for development. No side law, and then we look at sustainable development when we think about this ICT day. How not when we sustain this infrastructure we bringing in with them what the developments for ICT. No side law pricing, and Italians don't operate the prices not any high or any low, but because everyone competitive market. And all the time, we people making profit while at the same time while providing service to our citizens of Vanuatu. And aside no partnership, no government, private sector with the regulator, with the other industries, and very important and extremely important to make a partnership with the multi-stakeholder approach where country need to take in. No man is an island, so all the agencies only work together in volume hand. But all ISPs or operators play initially, you will start meeting the small challenges where you got now, yeah. And you go to us on people of Vanuatu, you will look, so you will lose hope. Only get ISPs or staff or operators or staff, only providing on service, and maybe one day by you got one tablet for them, you. And thank you to us, Lord Bread, where you come in this morning and Prakesh. With them Simon and Fred Samuel. Thank you too much for making time for attending this session. We hope the audience enjoy as much as me moderating this session. Thank you very much, Lord, the Honorable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, with the one that another big man radio minister. Thank you very much.
Just do one for 4.
Thank you very much to all panelists with the moderator Blini and moderator first discussion Blini for today. We get one day to have come, so you stop around. You say find out more information as well. You can sign about the update to you. But today you got some giveaways to a TV and the giveaways. Please, so you can win a lot of prizes today too. By the way, suppose you stop around, you get free internet, free Wi-Fi, so you can find information. Ask them what books, of the dollars that inside those books.
Free Wi-Fi, the teachers and you even password too. So you can say what we call tablet, phone, real, chance me. You get one quiz, that program, one quiz, and also giving out prizes. And you need to take a quiz before you take the next session meeting or something like a discussion and next session number 2, the e-government and how the government benefits. I should take a look at some samples for 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay, first question being below today. You said with the one prize with TV and he give him. And question being, here we go. Awesome. Do all TVL customers enjoy the benefits of submarine cable? Are they enjoying the submarine cable at this time or subscribers with TV? So it's an easy answer. It's an easy answer.
First question on the is every TV users will start enjoying submarine cable, will start knowing or know that. So if you got one answer, come on front, give me a question to you. Can chance to submarine cable prize sponsored by TVL Telecom Vanuatu Limited, making life easy.
Okay, we got one more question. So, name to you?
Name to be Rolling.
Okay, good morning. How are you enjoying ICT Day today?
It's very good. We are with coverage. We are so we are session.
So you can move up all books or anything?
After.
Okay, so one straightforward question, one of them will answer for you.
Yes.
Okay, yes is her answer. So do you subscribe with them TBL are using TBL services?
Yes. And let me move fast for them.
And you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yes. It's yes.
Congratulations, that's one answer this morning.
Yes,
one TVL t-shirt.
One TVL t-shirt.
Thank you to TVL. Information bringing password for free internet. Anywhere you start, no area as long as you start coming inside, you will receive that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every password then I'm going to use the internet. So count 1 to 8, that's the password for digital network internet for CPAC area. This once we got another question.
You got another question? Question you to one internet price or price for internet about 10 megabyte within TVL.
Price for 10 megabyte internet within TVL, and then some of the price for them, they have a group there, to help you decide the information number, apparently you answer. That price for 10 megabyte internet within TVL. Anyone have an answer?
Let me repeat the question again. One price for internet, 1 megabyte unlimited. What TVL is an offer there?
You know, 10 everyone, huh?
1.
Okay, now you got quiz, we're going to some prizes for TVL, that's right. First question, here we go, Sim. What now internet price for 1 megabyte? 1 megabyte from internet from TVL, 1 megabyte unlimited. And how much? It's between 10,000 and 20,000 Vanuatu.
Okay. Suppose you want to answer, come on the stage.
Come on up and you want to tell us program 1 TVL hat. So it's what's the internet price of 1 megabyte unlimited on broadband? Broadband, yeah, broadband. It's between 10 and 20,000. Give me the price and we'll give you the hat.
You got one more name to you? Okay, one of them answer for you. 15,000?
15,000, that's no, you know, answer to any question that we like it. Anyone get answer? Make sure you put that. You can see them put this up away, find them answer away. Come give you answer on top of stage. Question for TVL and Milagre, quiz for this up, yes? You got answer? Wrong way, again, got a question.
Okay. What are the price for internet below 1 megabyte unlimited broadband?
1 megabyte unlimited broadband internet price for TVL. Suppose you have the answer. Suppose no be, I think Babylon will take a price, huh? I think I know the answer.
I think you fit in there.
Anyone who has answered the quiz question or need to ask him? Think about this kind of break before you need to get dapat quiz question. Yes, come back. Or you go pick an answer.
or help on government, or how government may sabe provide them all services for public at large. So I may not have me one of the main thinking behind the government or sab, but me I think mami talk more lo site law or someone use of law the government application. Law speech law Prime Minister law opening address plan me karena me dalam say whatever climate you may not sabe how law stop it. The through law all kind technologies also ICT or e-government have me helping me meet lo you sabe predicting full up law kind natural weather or some weather phenomena or kind weather also. Now Department lo meteo with them just they make that one put away where you sabe ko lo ask them better detail site law technicalities law all applications law how you miss have use some ICT to provide them all services. But say for example Vanuatu have one area where we very prone law or the different natural disaster. Say for example the site of volcano. At full up the volcano Bloyumi will be very active and Bloyumi monitoring all kind natural hazard also and important law. You must develop all kind system or cattle technologies so you start helping me you start predicting all kind event or all kind disaster also. So lo you lo Vanuatu ikat lo tanah ikat lo amprem mo ikat lo ambay mo lo kao we may actually monitoring real life real time data we through lo ICT we may sabe capturing all activities inside lo volcano. After we relay message we come directly lo head office then all gather sabe issue all advisories or all information lo one mo may start taking place lo real time. So let me have one classical example of how application through law e-government where you must have a help of government to help provide them all services equal law public at large. And then have one classical example. Another one where I think you must use of the day even before one cyclone may actually develop. You must have even predicting 7 days in advance through law ICT. So all kind tools also can law come help them government. Provide them all services. Now, before I think law site law cost law all kind tools also may very very expensive. But I will give e-government may come on board and may actually cut them with a lot of cost. We have to help them one also Department of Meteorology, we have to capture them when we start outside the way, the site all monitoring, and then we help them we have predictive or we make one forecast lower them situation when we start them. So I mean one classical example of how you start use some ICT through the e-government system where government in at the moment.
Thank you so much, Fred. You want to make an additional comment, Law Officer?
Yes. Thank you, Kari. I think show them from a user perspective. Let me outline them very clearly how one user, one department, fully utilize them through the ICT to provide them service for people of Vanuatu. The fact that only have monitor them on natural disaster in real time, I mean, say you also citizen, you're better informed. The information where you can know radio, even in fact, now we set them up SMS. We use the latest weather information. So that's a very good classic example of how one government department and better serve citizens of Vanuatu by informing them in real time about the disaster while it happened or even before it happened. Currently, we want them to some like opportunities for the future. How ICT is available in two sectors. We want them specifically. I think Director Jordan may talk about the cyclone meteo or disaster. We want them to talk specifically about cyclone education with them health. When we want to priority blame of Vanuatu. Nito first time lo cyclo education. Today, you know at every schools lo Vanuatu only got access to internet. Nito po situation bol kata today. Secondly, you got some schools where you know got all qualified teachers or some all schools will start all open centers. Thirdly, time you send them textbook you go, God knows for the kasing destination, but you must package them locatel, you put them low one ship, low one plane, you must pay an excess weight plane, and you send them go. Time you go kasing school ya, sometimes you must share them from Emino Plante. And sometimes me are stories only thermal page plus book plus share them. Sometimes you are say teacher too, even Eminoko teacher. So I mean some role challenges where you cut rural areas plus Vanuatu. At the end of the day, time become low and low yeah. Therefore, you must sit down low, same level of exams. Suppose me right, no one specialist for education, but that's what me current law education expert. Only must sit in same level of examination, same type of question. So one student when we start one remote area where we not got access to right information or tool yeah, we not got right access to information. I mean no fair them from by this town to sitting one same exam low one student we start low one open center where you got access to information. So how now ICTs have a help please here. Possibly you need more information about how you must problem out all ICT all schools, please visit input TRR. We got 2 presentations by come afternoon we focus on how you implement internet all schools. But we go back to the point. How now ICT must help them learning, beginning around the Vanuatu. Suppose you connect them one school today, you set them up one computer lab, and that's exactly what we do in Loren Sarita pilot project. And we mean say Naya all schools no one remote area or Semrensari, only sabi go online, only got access law, all same content, all same material where any students around the world, whether it's in Paris, it's in the UK, no London, no Fiji or Sufa. So one student no one remote area, we got access to the same content. Emi no emi ano, so emi empowerment, help them capacity for student. Secondly, emi teacher. By the time you tell them that you go to one remote area, teacher me lack them the type quality or capacity for emi probably teaching all beginning. Suppose teacher me got access to ICT or internet, emi sabe make more research, emi better inform, emi improve capacity for them, emi minimum say emi sabe train them good student living or rural areas, no time only ready lo exam, only better equipped lo system exam, and hopefully only doing better. Thank you.
Fred, example Lorenzari, you may cite them few times. Me aware of case Lorenzari, I think 2-3 years he passed now. Me one time suppose you me suppose got any information you may have share them lo public as to lo success Lorenzari. What about the other schools where you may got any you may roll them out similar experiences? You may have a look him lo other places lo results lo beginning lo last year you look him any clear evidence, lo show him say yes, experience lo Rensari, and somebody, one experience where he sabe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kari. Before me, Atam lo talk about the lessons learned from Rensari, all success stories, and when you Mr. Miguel lo Navla schools, but me give small time lo look lo me, give one small update lo Rensari after by me give more detail.
Thanks, Fred. So Rensari has been mentioned, and it should be explained that a telecenter was placed there several years ago that provided students with access. And that part of the experiment was a great success, and Rensari went from doing not so well in contests and scoring and so on to doing much better, and in fact won second place in a national science contest. So we think that was really attributable to internet access. And so there is that example, but also there are other schools, like the Central School here is a public school, but it has a very active computer lab. All other students go through and learn computer skills, and as a result, virtually the entire school is computer literate, and I think it's really helped them. Now, of course, they, this is a more wealthy area and so on, but still, I think the computer lab itself has had a big success. Now, some people say that around the world, computer labs are being phased out and so on, but those are that's in societies where you don't really need computer labs because every kid has a tablet or a smartphone. We don't have that yet. When we get there, then maybe we won't need computer labs, but at the moment, I think that is a good way to go.
Thank you, Fred. Any additional?
Thank you, Thomas Kari. Before me, additional, me remind them everyone no more say lo 10 past 2 the afternoon. I got one specific session where you talk about internet law school. So you were interested lo set lo roll out lo internet law schools, please come lo 10 past 2. But me ata because lo Lu lo side lo case lo rensari success. You got two ways lo help lo mito pot success. One em lo side lo literacy lo school performance school kita after ligat access lo internet. One em no make lo performance school. But second one, given that it's a pilot project, and success lo sense we will learn some new lessons. Premier bemimi before we roll them out on another 15 schools. So lo side lo academic, we na lu italem one science competition will be happen 1.5 years ago. Renzari and become second in national competitions. So and that's the result. Lo only got access to the internet and become research and they've been able to participate well in competition. Secondly, according to principal John Kanbai, last year time we've been interviewing face to face. They tell them say only been go from about 50% to now 100% pass rate. Year 10 equal year 11 and year 12. So lo side lo academic side, emi got direct impact lo performance for student lo ya. Secondly, lo side lo naraway lo success in one pilot project, we learn a lot. First one, time you roll them out internet law schools. Remember, say ICT alone, internet by solving problems of school. First one, you need in one accommodation, you need in one classroom, one proper classroom, where you put more equipment lab. Secondly, you need in one good flat trailer. You need in one man who is teaching ICT. Thirdly, you need in power. So you must get either. I really recommend them generator, but anyway, for the sake of power generator, but more preferably solar. And thirdly, you must get backup support, maintenance. Suppose with computer, you got someone you maintain. And probably for the fourth, either through the Ministry of Education or schools or school parents committee, or you should always put the money available for the time where equipment if fail. At least you get funding to replace all equipment. So you will learn more lesson. So how about you target them all next 15 schools? More Navla 75 schools where you want to target them before 2018. You want them say you will learn more lesson and make them sure say you may address them in advance. To enjoy them say you put to me ICT Kolo one school and be sustainable.
Thank you, Thomas. Fred, you may touch some education. I think topic we may touch some area below government business. I may touch some area below business. Now, suppose you have give one example. Me one businessman, me start below island. Me want them lots of one application below me. Me sabi make a time when me start below island. Me possible or not? Suppose we me ask one general question also.
Thank you, Thomas. Courage. Moderator, I'm asking one very good question. Suppose me, Mr. Block Island, we want to register from one business license. How now ICT is of help? Again, we describe a situation. Today, suppose me understand, suppose you want them, you must travel to ship or plane, you come to Fila or Santo, you go to office, after you go, you register. You register this and you cost you. Lo transportation and you cost you. Lo you kakai lo fila, lo sleep lo one house fila, lo you go back. How now e-government or ICT lo government and have help from you me all citizen plan de lumi you know businessman no more. You me too you need a lot of information lo Vanuatu government. ICT and have help plan de lo place. First of all, when you know you start making business. First one me on website. Today me please plotalam say I think offer 25 government department, even probably more than that, up to 30. Well, you got all website all that. Suppose you want them to all detail on website, you should call put office government CIO right at the end. Police have given you list on website here. Meteo me one classic example. Finance department, caramel report, government. Them too, ministry pro land. Plantel on website even only publishing legislation only publishing annual report only publishing mission statement even all events only staff organization only publishing. So that's very good, very proactive law department only use ICT law giving right information law government. Law site law application form you may not kasem level A. Then we want something where especially office for me Mr. Woglem with the Navla department law make him sure say citizen is apply from one license, for example, one businessman, and is apply in real time. Lo island, you apply Kamlofila. You may not custom stage here, but you make a plan, or you may eventually have a custom stage here where you have apply from one business license or even one job vacancy, for example, public service, or was you apply for police training college, you have go apply online.
Thank you, Thomas Fred. Thank you. Very useful information, Mr. Haran. By me come back to you later. Naya, you may start lo time lo ini hemi dalam 12:47. But by me give him opportunity lo anyone who hemi start among lo crowd, where maybe hemi want to ask him one question. Lo the panelists lo hemi lo pleasure. Hemi most welcome lo come. We give him small time. Lo use was where you come. Okay, thank you. One member of the public, Mr. Pleasure. Thank you, Thomas. Dan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Thomas. You give time to you. Help me understand more of e-government. Me name is Dan McGarry. I work as a chief technologist at Pacific Institute of Public Policy. We play one small project where we need to do the budget for government for Vanuatu. Hemi come through, so hemi possible from assistance where Ministry of Finance give him share information plan. Me look service, I think that Fred by you corrected me, but I think you may make 4 or 5 new website where or you just go online now. Then me wonder ask him suppose where how now on man place by only make use of information where government in Holland. Follow one principle where English you may tell us open data. One steps now by you may take them, format, service. Man only say taken information, use them for them thinking get for them need get.
Thank you.
Thank you too much, Tan.
See, I did come and listen to you all the way in there. I was down there cooking an extra chocolate cake. And you know when I walked along, he probably saw me. Did you think that I'm going to come and stand right here? And then he says, and the excellent regulator, so I immediately did a little got out of the way. I heard that bit. Yeah. You would have heard that bit if you were on Mount Cool, right? Well done, man. You got a selfie show? Yeah. That is good. That's good cake. I love food. Your food.
So, we participate in answering some questions. But one of when we're going to talk about the afternoon, about universal access. Got programs, got several programs where Office for Telecommunications and Radio Communications Regulator, and we've been developing with them, government through Office for CCIO, and also with them funding partner for Australian government through the governance program. The part of discussion is no afternoon too, but you mean club, local with them, you mean Principal Florensari College, where we start with them, you mean too, and you may give him time later on towards the end of the session, and time to share some experiences to have. Universal access, also what we will talk about, any related to telecommunication services. Meaning where friend we become sharing with them, and we say, you stop everywhere, you stop anywhere, you got one access. Now, and then you take them thinking, yeah, you can apply your services for telecommunications. UAP, also where friendly been giving definition plan, universal access policy. Policy, policy with government of Vanuatu been making, or the policy they got through Council of Ministers last year, and policy you got to get objectives where you stop. Clearly outline the policy and say you must meet it. If you pull up in stuff, we haven't finished or previous sessions where you've been happening since morning now, yeah. Some only mention them, some look at the objectives here. One of the time we will achieve 98% of population coverage. Full population we want to say 98% of them. But we must have access to telecommunication services. Policy and you also talent small, supposed to you got access here, you got access to one type of service. And we mentioned them, so you got access to voice services, you got access to narrowband internet service, including SMS, including access to internet speed, when I sound begin you experience release through our phones, access to Facebook. Also, I tell them too that access to 98% of the population, you must also cover them up broadband, internet services. Broadband, when we related to the team, people, event there. Over the objectives here, we target to 98% of the population, and our key areas where we want to say, you must be covered, government offices, or schools in particular, you want to say, you must have coverage, you must have services for internet, you must have services for other telecommunication service where you say help them with learning, help them with teaching, help them with administration to schools. Also community staff force up, we must have that service. 98%, one people attack where Office of Telecommunications regulator and staff work to implement them over the thinking of the policy. Now, in doing that, you have sample of programs where you will develop it. I think you will develop, you will finish, notice plan stuff go about. You will have, we will want to talk about the programs and brief session coming to learn this afternoon. All programs have go in line, but giving access to telecommunication service, equal or people will only not have access, only not enjoy privilege where you got. We start enjoying places we got access to services avenues. Also make area of both pillar around more open areas where you mean or centers for provinces or Luganville. You want them say where you mean people more programs say all parts on seven. No, any have help to contribute to come long goals for UAP. No, actually 98% of population coverage. So what more of the programs here? You mean connect them over the schools with the internet. And connecting over the schools, means you set them up on a computer lab, you put them power level, you make them connected to the internet, the beginning of students in the schools, so this have a user. Program here, we got funding where Australian government is giving, no any help to fund them over the requirements to set them up on a computer lab on each schools. So, you when you start listening, you when you want teacher, you when you want student, you listen and you got interest for program, yeah. You will like strongly encourage them, you will like make contact with them, you will like come to from TRR, because you will find them, that information is start flowing, that on flyers we will put them, will give you more information about the programs. By that up to 15, we start looking at up to 15 school. 15 school where by you will connect them up all the time, no program. Now how long will you select them over the schools? Then when people are questioning where you will plan by you start thinking about how will you select them over the schools, but our schools only must apply income. Only must apply income or office material or application forms by you put them go out. Application forms you put them you structure them one way where you help them you select them for successful schools. But over the forms are only available and we start up today, we probably announcing that forms are available as of next week. You impressed, you make contact with the people, you come pick them up one form, you fill them up information to school for you. Where you try and give him chance to you, where you go, you part of that program to connect them up over the schools. Now our program, distribution for over the tablets. But you got 1,000 tablets, 1,000 tablets where you want them distributed all over the schools. But any of this distribution no more, by any base or assessment where you make them through the application from schools where on the interest of programming. Tablets where you give them out, you got use how a teacher or students and you have a use in the school, where you help them with them learning to help. You got all these different ways you use how they apply them use for one tablet in the school. So you think about for one teacher and you have a use one tablet, look at so much resources inside there. You have a download them over the e-books, you have a go online with school play when you got access to the internet, you have a go online, you go to one internet one educational website and you use them over the resources for start where you currently help them with them teaching plan for you or help them you demonstrate them on something where you want them teaching over the beginning. One example, you got full up. Even you have a put them also library, but beginning you become maybe have a sign out there also one book. And then we get them, we go out your house session that period we got when we spend on the tablet, and we got access to so much information. You got various ways you start using. Even you start using from any protocol. Let me also one mobile phone, but it just bigger a little bit. You plan a little bit, you start one of that ladies. You start using you capture a photo, you take a photo, or you take a video for one special event for school, and you store them for reports for you and it all kinds of things you start make them no tablets. You me interest no program, yeah. All application forms will be available. You come lo book with the Arab was seeking more information about flyers and stuff. You submit to them me or Jeffrey, look at more information. Last follow-up program, target develop the businesses. You one businessman, you stop lo villa or you stop lo island to you, and you got interest in lo ICT. You want them go make a business, you extend the business to you call area, then program employ you. But you got funding where you put assisting all businesses where only you got that interest, where extended business you go ICT. And requirement of program you may look business and demonstrate them interest for him ICT. And one of plans for him try and make them show so when we set them up they become successful and then something look out them. You call a future without need look at support for government or need got any more funding to help them. All the programs here, everyone, just one-time assistance, whereby TRR with them, OCCIO, more also with them donor partner with him, Australian government. Only development, blocking more the grants, assisting schools or assisting businesses, probably set them up with the facility or with the communities for you. Yes, I think probably don't take them up too much time, but please see where you got information, you got questions, you saw approaching me for information, or you saw call up booth for TRR for more information about the programs here. We proud to start with with them principal representative for Rensari. Rensari, everyone example for one of the programs also where TRR have been developing and been working with him, and now Busimi when we start from morning, you will look at official land over TRR Municipal School, government, Prime Minister, we can present, we make a hand over there. And by you give him time, principal, when we come and we talk about the experiences here, where Rensari and we got time where only go through that program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Alman Welsi. Thank you, Jeffrey. Obatan TRR only been very supportive. Now project way Pistala Rensari College, we start molecular Malama province. We want bilingual school. We've got a total of 470 students. Yes, 7 Kasim, year 13. Students will only start making year 13, only start one program with USP, school-based program. But otherwise, as you may look, like this morning, project, pilot project, government, the launched in Sari College, November 2011, everyone project where Rensari have come up with one landmark, one new policy where the government start by implementing library schools for Vanuatu. We just want to talk about the experience where school we go through since 2012 or 2013. The project start go on. Universal fund. We also then come inside the funding project. After project here, we play using satellite no more internet, Rensari College. na after kasem last year project pilot project emi finish when emi happen school emi go towards the digital negotiate with the digital after me play current internet service through the digital. But otherwise emi want people change the school, especially the students or teachers. Emi want new experience where we play look inside the education system, suppose universal access policy we implement now Vanuatu. But you look change where Rensari we experiencing right now. Pull up teachers, we got laptops because we got all wireless. We connect enriching houses for teachers, or they study, or they research, or they making something through wireless, through laptops. When students only study inside computer labs, use small computers, computer lab, only making research, more studies. We want good news to the school that we got IUF. We just launched and finished this year. Some students, some teachers. We plan Rensari College where only Francophone, only study law, only taking on studies through IUF. More way, only Anglophone, some only start go through the USP, law online courses. So everyone big thing, more big change when we look through law program and government, and we start look forward now implement it. And we believe change Rensari experience as a remote school, and we start the island after all students only got access, let's send something, send information, all town schools, and we got, everybody really want one good thing, long schools where only located, no remote areas, all the islands for you. Suppose you may look policy or plan my government and implement it successfully. Change by you may look throughout the standard education inside Vanuatu. One time we got one experience for one student, and one ex-student from Rensari College last year, the 2013, and now we've been talking all as year 12, Rensari College. After we selected me become the school year 13, Vanuatu College. Pamina Manbit, Bami asked me to come. He talk about experience as a student at Mr. Rensari College. Can we look if it happened through the project? Pamina?
Okay, thank you, Principal. Again, we want to look at the student for Rensari when we've been got experience for internet, and we will look at how now internet and improve from academic grades for one student. Okay, then you start school, we will look at certain teacher and give work for me. Sometimes, especially all eyes from me, then teacher even give him from me. Sometimes we like invest some hard time. Since the all past years, we like invite more all students only not got access to internet, make them say all got access to library no more. Make them say all got only stop for no more. But sometimes all information in library only outdated, meaning that only sometimes only for a long time to mass. But times say we like got access to internet now. We like look say sometimes we like got full access to correct answer from we like. Then check him work from him. We play some call Google him for the correct answer. We play stuff about them. Make him say we play really appreciate them. Then say we play us them. The lesson that we like that internet access to school from him. Okay, internet access then we play student in got access to him. Milo then Mr. Leonine Emi 2010. After we play stuff the school go ikam. Then say we play stuff lo year 12 from him. I like appreciate pick one from only Belgium and Central school Bloomington became say replace got full access to him no more. So then teacher I been give him high Bloomington no and we just leave Bloomington we like then go follow internet Google have to find model answer. Because sometimes presentation Bloomington and we help him with pick one. So before when we finish we like bakalan mo say Lomila also more student Rohal Island like appreciating people they like at telecenter what internet lo school babila from we like at same information also more student will live the town. It doesn't matter we like live the Highland. It doesn't matter we like mga taxis lo full place for kasing internet. But still school babila we like at we play really talented people pagod from it. And we make them every possible way to make them semi-blind, like some access to internet. More through the internet, you know, heavy album people and low grades, academic grades, make them semi-blind. So it's a good program back to all school town. So before we finish up, we really want them to tell them thank you to us. We really want them appreciate them everyone. See through the internet no more. Maybe sabi ka mo, maybe sa tulong internet no, maybe sabi ka pat yung mga above college. Ating ano mo, we got the talent. Thank you so much. Attention to everyone.
Okay, thank you, ex-student Rensari. After we start both Rensari away, one parent can ask you one question. Every time say, any unlimited all information when students only collected land, you play just allow no more what only go inside. You carry anything only want them carry. They want them answering question la pleasure, but some parents may be thinking the negative side or some other things that students might be doing instead of studying or doing research. We want them to no more Lawrence College. We play at one good pala IT. We play at one good pala IT specialist. And we have a good law. Something play internet, and we go say that we blocking all websites where you sell pornography materials, more all narrating all this stuff. Just like computer lab, we like at one something when we like putting inside the bottle IT all this stuff, making we like blocking all places where all students by not access, not rubbish something. After only carrying all good all information no more. So like experience parents are now, that you got internet, you need to all good all IT man, by all start the schools too. Longer they can help him improve him on certain small areas also. But that's a small community benefit from telecenter. We want pilot project work on surrounding communities. Law Southeast, where Ransari College and start, or they can benefit through to start benefit law telecenter start Ransari. Okay, pull up things on community only experiencing. One something that only experience him also some blog at all in the server, one maybe internet, one maybe email, one maybe all thing where you can use it through the internet, or one information only accessing through the internet. So we will start awareness, you go through all villages, after all communities only come, or got only experiencing one now in email or on internet. So only come only making small research. Only come only go inside and starting all email accounts blog after look at all things start now. Some of the things that we look one blog thing of business or small businessman only making law Southeast. Only come on list blog others blog at only come only type him law place where internet is start. We plug at one man start we help him over type him, only set it go straight to stores. After only send the money no more go from only holding telephone, you ring every item say you wasted time. You type no more, then you put him through the email. From what they can all order play you, only put him amount you make him payment, no more you receive him on cargo. So we try to encourage him over the community also. Some pastors only come only make more research plus some sermons plus only preach plus certain topics. We allow him over only come inside only make him research. Only to look plus certain topics. Make him improve him, I think presentation plus sermons and some other things where we play looking benefit in community. One something where we play command up one time the sustainability plan, maybe also school more community, informing one committee. Okay, school more committee and community and informing one committee. Simply what may happen time project you finish, we play stop him satellite internet system, we play stop him after we play current digital, we play need to pay monthly payment, rental block digital. So what may happen, community more school come together from one committee. After we play at some more fundraising activities where start happening inside the place and the internet, more the school and support. Plumi vile karimani plumi vile maintenim project yalo Rensari. Madani wan kutala project. Mami want to take time to thank you once again no government. Plumi been choosing Rensari College as a one school. Lo putting pilot project here. Mami want to thank you to no katala TRR. They were very supportive start launching long pilot project here. Kasim last year and long project here finish. So we want to thank you long kata alo TRR. Something in the moment we want to talent this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for a presentation where we come out of this afternoon. But we got one more presentation by again. Okay, you stop around, you sabi go visit him all booths, you got pull up an interesting something where you sabi go find them up. You got one internet lab only set them up white up all in the way. You sabi go more accessing Facebook, you know, go on Twitter and tweet your friends that you're celebrating National ICT Day. You got all the USP too, you sabi come Dr. Naomi and a lot of staff and volunteers who are stop my place. See how all are demonstrating all demonstrating full of little facilities especially video conferencing and plenty more. If you are an existing students or one where you want them to go back to school, you have to come register them, you want to buy no place. Then you register by name, we're going to draw to, you have a win, and that draw will be made during the USP Open Day for this year. So before you go on next speaker, you got full up on presentation. So you got full up boots on stop, proceed to ask you a question. You say me with a little bit, but find some interesting information we say find them on put. Suppose you got another question and you say we need one flash drive. Question be me and TRR na me give you flash drive there. So thank you too much to you. And but you got a question be me this afternoon. Have me one company. Ikaram submarine cable. Have me come lo Vanuatu. One company. Have me ikaram submarine cable. He come lo Vanuatu. Suppose right there. Okay, what answer for you? Interchange. Okay, you just kind of flash drive for you and there we go. One flash drive we go. One small bag, you like to make one more performance for you, and then we took up all two presenters for me. We want to make a presentation for this afternoon.
Okay. Take another minute.
Okay, there's free Wi-Fi. Suppose you got your smartphone or tablets, free list of the place. Password, any 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Is it 9, Jackson?
Yes.
So suppose you got smartphone, you want to take one picture for you down the seafront today, or the rain, or so on that.
One small bag, supposed to start around. Front and open. Next topic coming up, about mobile banking. Pronoun kita dalam small one and mobile banking.
Well, mobile banking full of the misabe naya with them all banks well stop around. Full of logada you have access account do you lo mobile phone do you suppose you want to check your account do you or how much money is the account you have using phone do you stop current okay maybe lo salota or you have check him. And today by to present his Bini but to present him on presentation around one topic where we call it mobile banking in developing countries. And everyone another presentation again. Everyone good one. Suppose you guys have a movie come tent. More hard one talk where Pahami come out to present his expert. We put come talk this topic this afternoon. One small bag. Ladies and gentlemen, give one big hand for one small bag hip hop group. Suppose you're interested about class for one small bag hip hop, dance a little bit, use of a go. One small thing for 100 more start language, shake and body to you.
How's it going? It's going good. My girl ain't gonna fight me. You the dude. And I got just what you need. Brand new Chris Brown, T-Pain. You heard it here first. Happy Blow Radio. We love you.
Give it one big hand, Mogata. One small by people group. All that they contribute plan their on special occasions with Mr. Organizer. Only come on the tennis from the entertainment evening. Okay, but you go on the next presentation, Yumi. All presenters for today, we got Jordan Wingstop, Director of Open Revolution, and Mr. Samantha there for Reserve Bank of Vanuatu. Topic for presentation today, having mobile banking in developing countries.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for standing in the rain. So I'm going to talk about two of my favorite things, mobile telephones and money. So I'm sure everyone here has a mobile telephone and has some money. So we want to combine those two things into a new service that I think is going to be extremely useful both for doing business and just your everyday life. Mobile money is all over the world. So this map shows all the countries where mobile money has been deployed, and mobile money has been deployed in Vanuatu. Digicel and ANZ have new products and services that are available to you today. Digicel's product is called Easy Money, and ANZ also has a new product. And so as you can see from this map, there's lots and lots of places where you can use mobile money. The reason mobile money is important is there are many more people out there in the rain today who have a mobile phone than have a bank account. And so if you can access money and save money through your mobile phone, then you can have access to a whole range of financial services that right now you don't have because bank accounts are either too expensive or too inconvenient for you. And so this picture shows the difference between people with mobile phones and people with bank accounts in Vanuatu. So in other countries where mobile money has really become popular, Kenya a good example, they do everything through mobile money. They send money to their families, they pay their school fees. If they owe their cousins some money in the village, instead of getting on a bus or a train or a car and handing the money to them, they use their phone and send the money to them just like you send an SMS message or make a phone call. As I mentioned, there's two products available in Vanuatu. One is Easy Money. It was launched last year. And the other product is called Go Money from ANZ, which just launched last month. And so with these products, we think that different people will find new uses for mobile money. You can no longer keep your money under the mattress or in your pocket, but you can keep it on an account that's secure and safe. And unlike the bank branch, which isn't always open and isn't always easy to get to, all you need to do is take out your phone and you can see how much money you have. You can send money to a friend. If I knew your phone number, I could send you money right now. You could pay a bill. You can do a whole range of services. And the fees are pretty small compared to what it would cost you to get in a taxi and go back to the village and give money that way. So it's a pretty simple process, and these slides are what we used when we were training people on mobile money in Africa. So the first thing you'll need to do when you open a mobile money account is register with an agent or with a banker. And so you'll give them some information, your name, your address, your phone number, and perhaps you may give them an identification. The next thing you do is you hand them over some cash. And so you put money in your account. You make a deposit. And as soon as this money is handed over, on your phone, you will get an SMS message that says, I now have money in my account, and it will give you the amount of your money, and the money is safe, just like it was in a bank. If you lose your phone, you haven't lost your money. You just get a new phone, and you look up your phone number, and they give you back your money from the account. You can also get money out of your account. Let's say you needed cash. And so you would take your phone to an agent or to a merchant who is participating in the program, and you would take your phone and go on your menu and say, I need to get some cash. And the agent would hand you your cash, and your account would be deducted from the amount in your balance. So a simple process, it's fast, it's safe, and as the product and service expands, there'll be more and more places in Vanuatu where you can perform this type of transaction. Also purchase airtime minutes. So instead of buying a scratch card, you could buy minutes for your mobile phone using mobile money, moving money from your mobile account to airtime. So another convenient service for you. You can never run out of airtime because sometimes you can't find a scratch card agent and sometimes you can't find someone to buy airtime from. So this product and service will enable you to buy airtime anytime, day or night. In some countries, they let you buy goods and services with mobile money. And so you can go to a gas station and buy petrol. You can go to a small shop and buy a Coca-Cola. You can go to a clothing store and buy a shirt. The merchant accepts the mobile money and the purchase is very fast and very secure, and it enables you to buy things that maybe you don't have enough money in your pocket, but you have enough money in your account. You can also pay your bills. Here in Vanuatu, you can pay your school fee with mobile money. In other countries, you can pay your electric bill or your cable television bill or other types of services using mobile money. And we talked earlier this morning about e-government services. One of the other things that can happen with mobile money is if you owe a fine or a fee to the government will begin accepting mobile money and you can pay for things that way. You can also use it to repay a loan. There are many countries where microfinance institutions or banks provide you a loan, but when it's time to repay, it's not convenient to go to the bank branch or the mobile financial institution area, and so you can use your phone and make your loan payment. You can also receive payments. So if there's someone who owes you money and they say, I can't get it to you today because I have to work, you can say, why don't you just use your mobile money account and send me the $2 you owe me. And so it's an easy way to send money from one place to another. And this was the type of service that became very popular in Kenya and caused that service to grow so rapidly. There were many, many people who worked in Nairobi, but many, many people who had family back in the village. And every weekend, they would either take a bus back to their village or send money with a person. But when this service arrived, they were able to send money directly using their phones back to the village. Now, sometimes mom wasn't too happy because the son wasn't visiting as often as before, but at least it saved money and was convenient and fast. And if you're always worried, do I still have money in my account? These services allow you to check your balance anytime you want from your phone, day or night. So all in all, a very convenient service, a service that provides a lot of the features of the bank account at a much lower cost. So one place where mobile money became very important was in Haiti after the earthquake. Lots of relief organizations came to Haiti and they needed to pay people to do work or to provide emergency assistance. And the old way they did this was by putting cash in an envelope and going out with trucks and handing cash to people. But certain organizations in Haiti decided to use mobile money. And so they signed up beneficiaries, and that's the picture you see here, and they provided them with a telephone and a mobile money account and were able to send funds to them that way. It takes a little bit of training to use mobile money, but the service providers will provide that training. And so the organization that was providing the relief in Haiti did some training in the different villages that were receiving the funds and showed people how to use the service. They were able to buy food and other commodities using the mobile money funds. And so here's a picture of a woman going to a merchant and buying some rice for their families using mobile money. They did it with teams to make it a little bit easier to organize. And so the team leaders would instruct the people how the emergency funds were going to be distributed and where you could receive cash if you needed it. They were also able to send money to other countries and receive money from other countries using another service, but with the funds provided through the mobile wallet. And then after the emergency funds were provided, people found the service so convenient that they started putting their own money in the mobile wallet account because it was an easier way to store the money and they felt it was much safer. And so here you see someone cashing in their mobile wallet. And that's all I have for you. Thanks for your attention. And for Digicel and ANZ, sign up for mobile money today. Thank you.
Thank you to Mas Lord Jordan. You give one hand back and Lord Jordan. And come all the way to America, blocking presentation this afternoon. Oh yes, so we comprehend Lausanne, behave your right. Okay, next speaker with me, Hemi Simon, who Hemi Staff Law Reserve Bank, more Hemi work plan there, law side law mobile or something law mobile payment. So I need time to Simon.
Thank you, Jackson. Mr. Woodstock, thank you, Liu, Representative Liu. Okay, we understand the program yang kami live follow. We understand the program yang kami live follow itu so kami talagang lolo di balato yung isa sa lolo. Mr. Woodstock, kami one expert ng mobile banking. Kami bin work full about ng CCIO itong developer na developer ICT site ng mobile banking. Long din na reserve bank, probably possibly wala liwan na why na reserve bank kami kami sa kapag mobile banking lo place na. Yung reserve bank yung regulate. So kami ito po mobile bank kami partly technology ICT, wala kami partly finance, or kami payment system. Server medium way yung distribution for payments. Full up yung I think I remember one story. Daily post we been publishing I think 2 or 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Lomalakula. I mean about one all man when 7 money plan or paper money 1,000 the house plan. I mean 7 koko tamoy fula. I think kasama about 600,000. At the National Bank kami ko open na branch plan doon Lakatoro. All like all money plan lo deposit and bank. Pero tayo kami kasampay, banko visa kami not kami sa full up doll 1,000 notes doll wala, only routine kami sa kami katsa kami ang paper kami pro. So at the end of the day, all wala man kami loso full up money doll. Inaugural, kung ating some National Bank kami manage pa sa sampai full up na kami loso. I think may miharap sa current story ba kan probably sabi may nilusukan o sabi may think may series lo island o house na bang kurata mo lipol mani tu iponin saya lo Vanuatu yumikat tumas solota yumikat solora itu mas ali yumikat full up island tumas geographical setup ya emi kibi one people challenge lo all service provider blame especially na location blame mo bisa na yan commercial bank make them all financial services I mean available lo all man based blame either lo all remote place where Mr. outside lo pwede lang lo kan pwede yung ilaki ya pwede yung misal freedom yung may from technology way kami capacity lo overcome geographical challenge heavy finally heavy ICT technology. Kami ito pa kami refer full of financial services. We use mobile phone. So kami ito financial services. We mobile phone use na Mr. Referral lo deposit account with them all payment services. We use either transfer money ko friendly or problem something losko or money transfer services. Please send the money ko or loan monthly when is the Farawi. Evidence full of statistically take place only find out say loan economy or loan country where crown in on flow one man may plan kakaible mali misaway living standard block all get well you got access loan financial services meaning deposit credit savings insurance very much more good with him all get well you got access loan financial services law case free law Vanuatu law 2011 reserve him been requesting one company law 59 Pacific Financial Inclusion Program will be conducted one will be called financial services sector assessment. Based law researcher will estimate them say outlaw 234,000 people population living outlaw previous census you got 19% no more 19% no more you got access to financial services. After you got about 12% of households you got access to credit. After you got 6% of population 6% no more only use insurance services. Tapi meet about 19% I mean minimum especially from 100 people out of 100 people of population 19 no more you got access to financial services. Kalau itu bisa masuk sama 12% of households more 6% insurance. Pays law all nampak ya no. Bisa pun kami create one task force last year. Enabler task force kami Vanuatu Financial Services, Vanuatu Financial Inclusion Task Force. Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Vanuatu saya ingin launch task force last September 2013. And lo task force ya, ultimate goal pa kami lo reduce or increase in number of loan man will get access law or financial services. By go up from 19% by going up at least 51% by 2015 or 16. Yung is the work law. Task force is the work law program. So suppose some really early is the question of when I'm not research pang I mean nag-finish sa law, development law, mobile banking law Vanuatu. One very first something when we were na, so kami been proactive level. Then which is that national police plan to initiate easy money to wala. Reserve pa, kami give him money what we call a letter of no objection. Iko lo wala kampanya. Lo alam yung tulad, betul sabi issue tako naman. Mega mobile banking. Ale nabla something balik kan, reserve pa na, kami sa work World Bank, lo develop one what we call a payment system app. Currently, you make a mobile services available for this. Lo Vanuatu pay. You may not have one framework it. You may not have one active. No, you make a from how now all services or all service provider will provide them services. You should cooperate. So you miss out law payment system act na. And besides that, over the last 2 years too. You tahu kata multiple central banks, all 6 central banks law Pacific. Belum develop one you may call them imani trustee. Imani trustee tell me one framework law guarantee into safety law client when is the use of mobile services. Mobile phone in itself, I mean not now. So, for example, kami sa work to with them. Ministry of Education to integrate financial education inside local curriculum. From example experiences we law past, for example, development by implement we proctor national credit union premium ni kotong lelvet. So what I'm listening we milanem na you may raise into financial literacy low school so they will pass through education. And besides that, you must work too with them multiple stakeholders to develop one more financial consumer protection. Provide all access mechanism at least happiness. You need in supporting legislations to losai propahami karandim safety blown customer with the world client. I think
give you one big hand to the presenters bringing this afternoon. Now you go sign up for an account in the bank and it give you easy access for you have a look account for you, check out how much you got account for you and plenty that you can do. Thank you Thomas. Lo you by you got Salo by him introducing next session you mean this afternoon, but if let's stop around in ako talang tiara, we got plenty of little prize value and they give him limit. So, you got all questions over him come up in no long time.
Much like around Vanuatu, you have very much closed society. And then as the medium of communication developed, you could use Vanuatu in terms of Bislama, as long as that developed, all of a sudden that facilitated communication with different groups that would not have been there in the past. The internet did the same thing. It broke down borders that were traditionally available. That obviously creates opportunities in many different ways, how you apply that. And these days it's mainly around business. Early on it was mainly around academics sharing information. It was very useful. So they would have their research, their papers, they would distribute those types of information. It's obviously the military that in the early days of the internet made use of that. It allowed them to communicate rapidly around the world, which was very beneficial from their perspective. These days, the average person, you might have someone who's a mechanic and they may have an idea there might be a problem. Well, in the past, you're limited to your own personal experiences of people that you might know firsthand. Whereas the internet will allow you to communicate with people all around the world, enter discussion forums, watch a video on YouTube as to how to fix something that would not have been there in the past. So all of a sudden, this knowledge base becomes, rather than local, it's global. And that's the real value that the internet poses.
Right, thanks very much. Lloyd, have you got anything to add to that? And taking in mind as well that there's a lot of people hide behind various personas and IP.
No, is this legitimate, is it not? If you're not sure, ask. If you receive an email from what you think is your bank, asking for certain information or maybe log on to this website, typically the bank will not ask you this in an email form. And if you go there, they'll explain this to you. There's no problem, just ask, verify the information. You'll find out as you keep using the internet, as you become more savvy in all the different types of scams that are run. And for the most part, they're very similar, but they are getting a bit more creative in their look and feel. It's getting harder to differentiate a trusted source from what is clearly a scam. If you ask, pay attention to some of the details, then I think that's the step number one, and it's really just a mindset. So beyond the technical controls, just in your mind think, can I trust this?
Righto, thank you very much. Lloyd, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, scam, you mean country, you mean denied scam. And we believe most of us or all of us when we attending this celebration, you may been one of the victim of scam, yeah? Famous one, you may receive one email come from Nigeria, say that you win him 1 billion. You receive one email come from Nokia, from Googles, you win him certain amount of money. Money you come now, you go to bank, you put him small money come on same, but you receive him $1 million bill within 2 weeks time, yeah? These are the scam thing when you talk about law place, and misabi imeron you may kasem. But in terms of consumer awareness, please never respond law this flash scam something, yeah? You receive this flash email, you just think logic, yeah? Common sense. Me never sabi lot people, yeah? Me never writing one something or me never entering one lottery. How about they give me $1 billion come to me? So when one common sense to your consumer, just think in this one. And one advice me for always telling all people, all public is that you receive one email or say, you know how to work open it. Or you know got time for you reading kind email, you just delete it. Go to delete inbox, you delete it further. Yeah? And you know go back to house, you thinking about that money because this money will never come to you. It's only a scam thing. So if you know Vanuatu, you may experience high broadband speed internet. Criminals are out there, they are doing scam thing. They are sending out scam message and always protecting email address to you. And also, as George talk about, that you receive one message come to bank for you changing ID to you. First, you not respond, you contact him bank, you ring him on the phone and you ask him that, have I one genuine email or no more? If I want genuine, at least you go visit him more, do double check. Because the moment where you start entering more detail, you go inside or box there, finish personal ID blue, everything password, then go finish. So be aware that scam happen in this country. You must take a more simple measures also based on common sense and logic, not thinking maybe.
Mark, if I could just add to that, this is not theoretical. The scam may come to you. We are seeing this. We are seeing attacks happen regularly. Through my work in the OGCIO, there's some great security controls that we've implemented there, so we've had some visibility as to what type of scams have been attempted to steal money off citizens in Vanuatu. So please pay attention. It's very important for you. It's important for other citizens as well. If you do find these scams, do not, as Lloyd said, don't respond to them. Do not phone their number. Do not send email response, anything like that. Call a trusted phone number for your bank or other institution that you may want to query and ask them directly and let them know.
Two things that I want to point out and get your comments on. One is these scams go all around the world and they play on people's greed or misfortune and they put a false sense of hope into them. And it doesn't matter whether you're in Vanuatu, Australia, America, Ukraine, they get them everywhere. For example, in Albania in the 90s, it wiped out half the economy. So we've talked about this, but I think it's more important to let people realise that it's something that goes on all around the world, and that's what the cyber network, through cyber security, what we're talking about here today. But people need to understand that it's just not possible. But the other problem that they have too, which I want you to comment on, is the damage it can do to their computers and hacking. They can come into their bank accounts and take their mega fortunes. If we can, your thoughts on that?
Yes, just something that seems as innocent as a link that you may click on, or a website that you know that it's a bit unsavory, but you still go there anyway. You may be doing things in the background that you're not aware of. Your computer may be compromised and ends up joining a vast network of computers that are used by these attackers to attack other people. Sometimes it's very noticeable, sometimes it's not. The main thing again is just to be aware of all these possibilities, to protect your own computers, basic things like antivirus, software updates for security patches, that sort of thing. And just don't open an email that looks a bit suspect, or go to websites that are suspect as well.
Thanks very much for that, George. Lloyd, you got anything else to comment on that, please?
Yeah, in terms of economic application of the impact of scam, like Maki bin Talem happened lo Albania, and just last year Fiji been facing some of the most prominent company in Fiji they're also facing similar attacks on their website, and they are losing big money because of the hacking incidents. And you mean Vanuatu, like George and Planet, you must always update him on antivirus, put him on security risk measure. Yes, then you talk about cyber security. For example, we just explaining in small concept there, no? Time you only one mobile phone, we torrent lo cement, and mobile phone and break. He no cyber security, yeah. But time we got one mobile phone, and we put in one password of mobile phone, or we put in one zip button for me protect him. This is cyber security, and protecting now device to you, and the bigger sense. And protective system lo yung country, yeah. They may put him on mechanism or cyber security measures, or hackers out there. They are very brilliant. They are very smart. They can hack in and just do whatever would like do with the system. So yes, economic wise and costing government for building and protecting. And if you're not careful, then costing to government or even or companies. There more people hacking or bank accounts for them or it's countable.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I think we've sort of covered that pretty well. Cybersecurity is dealing with the issues. Please explain to me the difference between cybersecurity and social media and the application of cybersecurity to social media in the form of, say, for example, Facebook bullying with kids. We see it, we read about it, we hear about it. There's issues of it apparently here. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's important to differentiate what we would consider cyber security from information security and system security point of view. The other side is really just a new way of presenting an old problem, which is bullying of people in general. All of a sudden they're using technology. So really it's more of a people problem, the other side. So when you talk about cyberbullying or child porn or things of that nature, it's not that information security. We're not worried about you losing your data or somebody getting access to it or somebody using your systems. It's really about people and protecting people. So there's a bit of a line there as to how we would go about protecting that, as well as who would be responsible for the protection of those.
Just interrupt there. So you're saying we're more into protecting the individuals as opposed to the systems in which they're operating on?
I think we need to look at both, but we need to be clear that there are different sets of controls that we would need to put in place to protect systems as opposed to people.
Okay, well before we go any further, I'd like to ask you what is cybersecurity, and then Lloyd, you tell me what you think cybersecurity is, and then we'll proceed from there. I think we'll just clear that up nicely then.
And that is actually a tricky question. The reason is security. If you ask one person what security means, it may have a different meaning completely to the next person. To what the PM may consider security, having your bodyguards, etc. around, well, a little child may not feel very secure, and the little child may feel secure in his mother's arms. So the definition of what security is from one area, one region in the world may differ greatly. So another country may not be worried so much about what we'd be talking about the people side of the security, but they might be more focused on the infrastructure, their critical infrastructure against cyber attacks such as their utilities, their water, their power, etc. And that may be what is important to them, to make sure it's available, that it's not being corrupted in any way, that it's very resilient, and that you can trust it in the end. That's essentially what we're talking about when we talk about cybersecurity. We're just talking about an online form or electronic form of trust and establishing that relationship and maintaining that.
So basically trying to take the blog out of it and put it back into a guaranteed source so that people can have a bit more faith in the system.
Yes, exactly. So they have that assurance that I'm going to you because I trust you and I trust you're going to do the right thing by me.
Okay, terrific. Your thoughts, Lord?
Yeah, for cybersecurity, I think my view is it's like it's a holistic view of putting measures, policies, procedures to protect the system. For example, if you put yourself in one small, simple way, then you talk about security. There's something when you think in one man, and stand up and block the door. The man that comes to the door and stand up, finish the door, so you don't come inside. You don't come inside. This is security. But then put in a context of cyber. Or St. George and Italian, if you talk about our system, or network limit, we must put all mechanism in place for protecting or foreign something or attacks or virus were trying to come for hacking, or those people were like stealing information from system to you. So if we got one computer, we don't put one password in terms of cyber security. This computer is not safe. Yeah? Because they not got one security, they not door for block anyone for come log in, no go inside. But the moment when we put in one password loss laptop only, this is cyber security. This computer is secured from anyone, Tom, Dick and Harry, or just accessing. So in simple terms, this is how we look at cyber security. And in terms of social medias and child online bullying, cyberbullying, these are the social behaviors where you interact using technology. So the moment where one beginning and see on Facebook, this is not cyber security. And log in on Facebook and interact. This is social thing. And just interact with your friends plan. But cyber security block picking in is the setting of the Facebook must be protected. They must be only viewed by a friend's plan. There must be some mechanism that can protect him social network plan. And in that context is cyber security. And when cyberbullying somebody, your friends plan and start making fun, doing some things where not appropriate. And these the social things where have been happen or network plan now. So that this is how I see cyberbullying and cybersecurity.
Right, well, we'll go back to you, George, when you said previously that you saw cyberbullying as more of a problem that was their problem, the same as it was when they were back in the school system. I'd like to pose to you, though, that when children are exposed to Facebook and it goes to so many different people and it's out there and what they can do with them, they can hack their accounts, they can do things, surely that has to be part of cyber security, and we have to be looking at measures to protect these kids.
And I think we can only get to an agreement through discussion on these topics. One country may have a different view to what Vanuatu does as to what will constitute cyberbullying and to what extent we would need to go to protect the children. I've heard of instances, to go to a slightly different topic, a telecommunication carrier would have as an instance of unlimited text messages, and all of a sudden the kids are using that to stay up all night sending text messages and they're tired the next day when they go to school. Now, is it the telecommunication carrier's issue that the child is tired, or is it the parent's issue? Is it the regulator's issue? I think through discussion we need to find what is appropriate for that environment. And the same with bullying. Yeah. Is it the parents that take responsibility? How much does the child take responsibility? The schools, the regulators, etc.
Oh, well, I'm supposed to ask questions, aren't I?
Please.
There's a big difference between being up and texting all night and being put in such a position by your peers that you commit suicide. So surely at some point the regulators and the governments must be looking to protect the citizens from things that no one else can protect them from. Surely.
I'm not a policy maker, so I won't pretend to be. And I think that is definitely something for the policymakers that they need to discuss as well. From my perspective, at least if they have that discussion and then we can take in all the information and find what's right, then we can at least find that happy balance. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to security, we're trying to evaluate what the risks are. And if we're saying, well, we need to put all these controls here to prevent something, well, if we're putting controls to stop something from happening, we're also stopping other things that may be potential benefit as well. So we want to make sure we find the right balance as well. And
that's granted, and obviously you have to work out whether it's a region, which we're going to get into shortly. One of our later questions is how we go. But I see you're chomping at the bit there, Lloyd. What are your thoughts about that cyberbullying and differentiation between either or, and do you think we need to be trying to at least get discussions up and some policies made towards that to try and protect the kids and everyday citizens? Because the last thing we want to do is prey on the weak and put them in a situation where they're shamed into hurting themselves or killing themselves.
Yeah, I think for Vanuatu we already have a cyber security policy been passed with the ICT policy and the UAP policy last year. And in that policy, for the cyber security, it have a 5 goal where basically talk about reviewing the legislative framework for Vanuatu, protecting online child. They call it COP, Child Online Protection Strategy for Vanuatu. So things are working for Vanuatu in the meantime, and this committee does also work on to review every law blaming for trying for how now we protecting, because like we tell them earlier on, the moment when you start interact law internet or Facebook, you are engaging with cyber friends to you, and these are inside of cyberspace. And this framework where you will start to look is how we defining all cyber crime. Yeah? So definitely cyberbullying, it's a behavior that happens in the cyberspace, but it's not a crime yet in Vanuatu. So we are taking steps under the policy from the government, and that policy was one of the goals is to create framework, especially legal framework to address and to protect citizens, especially children online.
So, I'm not sure, the cart or the horse. Security Act, obviously we've got the policy in place now to be enacted, so that'll be another 6 or 12 months, I'm guessing. Has it been legislated?
No, not yet.
No, yet, so it's ready to go and then be read, so probably 6 to 12 months, yeah, okay. Oh, that's not a bad thing. Is it, do you think a national or perhaps a regional, we've sort of touched on this computer emergency response team necessary, I guess a computer SWAT team if you like, and how should we go about trying to set that up and establishing it in the region?
Well, there's already been some steps to establish one in the region. I think it's still in its infancy, so it's not mature enough that it's an organisation that you could go to the drop of a hat. You've got an issue, how do we respond to this? I think for Vanuatu and my own personal experience, and in a way almost performing that sort of role at a very small level within the government and coordinating certain responses to security issues that have happened in the last couple of years, I think there needs to be something locally. Now, how much scope that organisation has, whether it's the type of organisation that just focuses on large organisations within the country and coordinates. For example, there's the government, there's the major telecommunication, there's the utilities, that sort of thing. Because obviously that's much more easier to coordinate than once you start getting the average citizen coming to you, expressing concerns. I've just received this scam, finding what's appropriate for this environment. I think if we start at that high level and start drilling down until we find what's right, and as well as the scope, whether it's there to just act as a coordinating body or whether it's going to also be enforcing cybersecurity laws, I think that's also a question that needs to be asked.
So would that mean people would have to register with this response team so that they've got a database and allow them then to, if something's reported, then they can just do a block mail out and say this is scam?
That's one approach. That's actually quite common to have a subscription-based approach where you have your members, and if there's something that affects them, you'll get in contact with them. Also, if there is, let's say, a compromised website that's hosting some type of phishing attack for one of the banks here, act as the coordinating body with other regional and national security emergency response teams across the globe to help bring down those websites, which is some of the work we have been doing to help protect some of the citizens here.
What sort of level of success they had?
Well, what we've found, we've obviously immediately blocked from a government network point of view, and we also communicate to the other providers. We communicate with TRR, we work very closely through the OGCIO TRR. We also work with the telcos as well. The thing is that it comes down to what type of services that maybe the telcos want to provide. Traditionally, a telco might provide you, here's a connection, now you're on your own. But perhaps the citizens here may want other services. They may be willing to pay a bit extra to say, well, I also want you to make sure that I'm not getting any spam coming through, any phishing attacks, that sort of thing. I'll pay extra, or that you'll automatically block those websites for me. Now, if you do things at a national level, like for example, Australia tried to do, there's uproar. People turned around and said, you've got politicians trying to tell me what I can and can't do when I've been using the internet longer than you and I have my own kids that I can protect better. So I think that option where if you try and get the major carriers involved, and perhaps there are some services available, and there's a coordinating body within the country, I think that may be effective. And then from there we can learn from our mistakes and grow.
Lloyd, the TRR's ability to do these changes like we've talked about, how much power have they got? You got?
In terms of response team, we don't have the power to control that one, but we can coordinate and facilitate the process of having a national set for Vanuatu. And we're encouraging and we're working close with the government on this one, but nothing been finalized yet. Also, we work close with, what we are doing is with any attacks coming outside from Vanuatu, we've not just liaise with them on ISPs, say, hey, check in this attack and come where, and I'll follow up, well, come on this website, check and go, then if them outside of Vanuatu, then I'll send them one message, go say, oh, one attack come low, network play you. And then this is how far we can do, but we can't move further. So we just, at the moment, we facilitate because the policy, the cybersecurity policy also talk about SET. So we try to find a way how we, for Vanuatu, got one similar body. But I've got many challenges in terms of commitment and also finance implication, like Georgian talent. You've even got one, pack set yesterday, and start with Fiji. But recently, he just broke down on Jaikana and been funding all equipment because having a set, you need expert people, very qualified with, and also equipment for doing all workload people also. So financially, you need money for establishing such body. And I'm really challenged by me, but you may still work for Vanuatu.
Mark, if I just add to that, I don't think you can underestimate the importance of having somebody that's experienced in security emergency response available there. Now, a lot of this is very new in Vanuatu, so the unique skill set that you need.
Just hold it there for a second. If you could just explain what you mean by a security...
the emergency response team. So
what constitutes an emergency?
So, for example, let's say a phishing attack. A bank's website's being impersonated on a server overseas. Effectively, what they want to do is get you to type in your username and password, then they can log onto your account and transfer money. Now, to be able to review those attacks, to understand how it's happened, to coordinate with the right people, or it could even be just a simple compromised server here, where they've gained access to a customer database and all of a sudden they're using it for their own various purposes. That skill takes many years to cultivate in security emergency response. So it will take quite a while to develop that here. Now, it has come a long way just in a very short period of time, but obviously it still will take more time to make sure people have enough experience and exposure to different type of events that they can be effective in performing that task. So yes, it will require some external expertise to come in, help with that capacity building, and there will be funding required. So if you get the funding, you get the right expertise to help build people here, I think that would be very effective security emergency response team, not just in Vanuatu, but within the region as well.
Your thoughts on that, Lloyd?
I agree with what George just mentioned. We need commitment and back up local government, and government already giving commitment through the policy, and I think it's now come to us in the companies and the sector as a whole to work together and try to coordinate to establish such a body, and we'll see how we go from there.
Just I know that we're all representing people and doing stuff, but it's also important that we understand the people behind that. So on a personal note, I'll go to you first, George. Your thoughts about where it should go, like you personally?
I have a very cautious approach, just my nature in the type of work that I do in risk management security. Rather than running wholeheartedly at something, I take careful steps, learn along the way and build from there. There was talk earlier today about e-commerce websites, things like that. Now, when you start talking about going from just the normal brochure type website to, okay, we're going to take your credit card information, your email address, your personal, other personal details. All of a sudden the risks increase dramatically, and so there's a lot of work that needs to go into that. And as I said, you need to build that internal capacity. So it's okay to move forward, we just need to move at the correct speed. And I think we are moving at the right speed, and we've got some excellent backing from key people within and without the government. My own area in the OGCIO, if I didn't have, for example, support in the kind of work that I do, and I've worked in many places where you may not get the full support from senior people, it's impossible to be effective. But it's understood that for us to succeed in all these initiatives, that particularly with the submarine cable, with this high bandwidth that's available, and we want to do all sorts of wonderful modern things, we need to understand what the risks are, and we need to manage those security risks appropriately.
Excellent, thank you very much. And Lloyd, now I know that you're in the TRO and you're the legal compliance officer, but you personally, you've seen what's going on, you've had first-hand experience. What are your thoughts, your personal thoughts?
This for me not TRO. Having a set established, first we need to see what are the international trend doing on this area, and see how other Pacific countries does there as well. But for information, many Pacific countries apart from Fiji, I think, have been got one national set, and you may got one discussion whenever you put him set, or whether it's not for schools or USB or government or even Soviet. This one discussion been going on, but I think for having an independent set body team would be more better.
Okay. We talked about the cyber security policy. Okay, we've discussed that through. Lloyd, I'll go to you first on this. Are we requiring a new cyber security act? And if so, why?
Yeah. Currently, we only use penal code. This is for traditional crime. And if we see, like, for example, theft, if someone comes stealing one Vanuatu portal house, and then trespass, then break in two offense, trespass and theft. But if someone open a laptop to you, and then stealing one information inside, what type of law na this one? Yeah? Maybe one theft, and the look penal code, him needing physical, these are the element of criminal, and needing physical and actually remove that document. But time you virtually remove from computer, is it theft? So, for having a new cybercrime, I think we need to first review the current penal code, and then also see whether we needing one new one, or we just amend the existing one.
So what you're proposing is that, that we have to have an amendment to the penal code to facilitate, but before we have that, we have to have an act for which the amendment to take into respect, wouldn't we?
Yeah. There's a committee now been established, and this committee will work close with the state office to review the existing law, and then once we're gonna come up with every findings law, and then whether the decision could be proceed with one new act or amending the current one, but just come after when committee will load that.
Would that incorporate the intellectual property as well? Would that be something that would be put in with that or not? Or like if it's coming out of that, it would be seen to be ideas if people were stealing it?
I think that's, from a cybersecurity point of view, it probably should be considered separate from that, as that's a very complicated area, and I'm putting that very, it is a very complicated area. I think if they just focus on the cybersecurity side and ensuring that the appropriate laws are in place to enforce policy, that there are the right laws. If, for example, a simple case of spamming people within the country, well, maybe it's a legitimate business, but maybe it's unsolicited, so you didn't ask for it, so stop sending me this stuff. Well, if there's no laws in place to stop them,
Yeah, I appreciate that, but surely after what Lloyd's just said, Lloyd might even clarify this for us, is that people get into, say, my laptop remotely, and steal, say, my notes for my next exam or something, or not my notes, but maybe my assignment, and submit that before me, and then you've got to turn it in, and then you've got your plagiarism, and then you get thrown out of uni. And you're saying that at the moment we've got no means or no way of defining it. So what I was saying was then, would you have to include intellectual property, not as in like the full scope, but as far as intellectual property as in that's your intellectual property on that computer, or how would we define what they're taking?
I think I will go with like George just mentioned. By me trying to separate, yeah? IPR only in civil matters, and we already have copyright address, and it's to do with the invention, something when you make it. So whatever document, for example, one essay there, it's like a separate thing. So only if I get something that's been copyrighted, yeah? For example, if you be downloading one movie, misalnya many go to YouTube, you download. This one copyright issue now. I have no cyber security issue because you take one copyright material on the internet and cybercrime by no come attacking you. So if someone will have got that copyright, by taking you under the copyright law, by come taken because it being copyright materials. But if the moment when you start stealing one document where inside your computer no more, this one now illegal access, illegal theft, where you take them out. So this is how.
So we're going to call it cyber theft.
Cyber,
something like that. That's what I was getting at. I was trying to say, what are we?
So these are some of the issues that when state will do drafting or the technical advices, they will also see how we define.
Do they involve either of your bodies in this?
Yes. OGCL take the lead on this one.
Not me personally. It's the policy side, but yes, the OGCL is heavily involved in that side.
And the TRR, they play an active role in it?
Yes, we're a member of that working group as well.
Right. So we're going to see an act. How soon? How long is it going to be before we get an act here in Vanuatu?
For me, I don't know yet. It's still with the government. They're still pushing with an instruction to state law. I don't know what's the update, but maybe after this ICT day, there will be a committee group will sit again and then just to revise and give a proposed progress report on that one.
Okay, so just in review, George, if you could give us, you've got say 5 minutes just to give us a review on exactly how you've seen what we've discussed today, and go back over some of the highlights that were to you for our people out here that are listening. We're trying to let them understand what's happening.
Yes, from a cybersecurity point of view, I think we've come a very long way in a very short period, and I think that needs to be appreciated. From my experience working around the world, there are elements within Vanuatu that were actually ahead in many areas, and especially in the work that I've been doing within the government. So I'm very optimistic as to the kind of services to citizens, that sort of thing that will be offered in the very near future. But obviously with that, we manage those security risks appropriately and ensure that we're building that internal capacity. So it's actually a very interesting time. That's one of the reasons I'm actually here, is because it's interesting work. It's actually fun to be here and work at this time. You're actually seeing change occur before your eyes. And if we take where we were from last year, year before that, it just come leaps and bounds. I'm actually very proud to be part of the team here.
Oh, excellent. And Lloyd?
Yeah, thank you. I think you need for giving big thank you to government, how him balancing development. Yeah, you need to have submarine cable, you need the broadband, you need improving telecom sector, ICT. But government, don't forget that cybersecurity will also an issue that been happen on internet. That is why I'm also passing cybersecurity policy. And government is very committed to this policy, and also TRI and government OGCL, you work close with me, at least protecting every developments will happen in our country, and also citizens time using on ICT and access to the internet.
Well, just lastly, and throw this out to you, what is the one key thing that needs to be addressed in cybersecurity in Vanuatu? One thing that sticks out?
I think we're doing it right now, and that's the awareness part, because that's the mindset change. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking in Vanuatu or within the government, without the government, or any organisation around the world. Once you change that mindset, all of a sudden people become aware, they become open to possible negative effects that going on the internet, for example, might bring forth. That in itself will create the biggest change. And once you're thinking in those lines, anything new that comes along, you're already a step ahead. You're already asking the right questions, whereas before you weren't asking the questions at all. So you were just ignoring the problem, but the problem still exists. So I think once we keep promoting that awareness, more education in that space, we'll go a very long way.
Yeah, likewise, because all instrument law maybe I feel is going to take years and years for pass. And key something is like George and Taleb, awareness. Using common sense, maybe logic that you use internet, and always play safe, yeah, that you go through the internet. Never respond to someone where you know something, and never give him personal ID to you too, to somebody when you start the internet.
So if you have, for cyber security, if we're in a situation where part of that awareness is a campaign where a website set up that you can access them if you see something suspicious or dodgy. I know this is probably the work of a response team, but as an interim work, as you're growing, by pumping it out and saying this is a website you go to if you've got any queries or you don't understand, is that something that you think you'll be looking at in future, or Vanuatu will be looking at in future?
I think that may be something part of the CERT, but there's already, these days, when it comes to cybersecurity, it's much more accessible, that type of information. You can go to websites all around the world that provide you all current information on security threats, scams, what you really should and shouldn't be doing online. So a lot of that information is there. You don't have to sell the importance to people anymore because now it's understood. There's been people have been impacted. Most people have been impacted one way or another, whether it's a simple virus on the computer or they've had their bank account compromised, anything like that. So I think that's definitely something that could be done and just leverage a lot of the information that already exists.
Lloyd?
Same. Case by case basis. Yeah? If you receive any attacks, come to website, come from bank, please check in bank. If it's something to do with cyberbullying, right place for visit him or you visit him or talk with him or parents. You share it with the chief, share with your church leaders, or if you like pushing about police, you should talk about police and police are advising you what to do, not what to do. Or you should come check him at TRR for me, give him what type of awareness because I give you. But maybe got website, if I got some presentation, some small video clips from if I upload it, just for raising awareness and start the website to if you start like look what knowledge is happening on the internet, if I putting some information for general information about it.
Well, and just lastly, when we talk cyberspace, are we talking just the web, or are we talking anywhere where there's electronic data transfer, i.e. texts and your go monies and all that sort of thing, or restricting it to the web?
That's a good question because the lines are now blurred between those different areas. In the past, you had separate networks taking care of your mobile network. Now, there's no difference between your data and your voice over a modern mobile network. So it's just what you're receiving and you're interpreting. That's the difference. So I think it's now become all-encompassing.
Lloyd?
Yeah, it's likewise. All our networks, like it's been converged. Yeah? So if you see technology being converged, so like George Gotes and Talent, even though I draw boundary, what no cyberspace, whether SMS with him, or Facebook, or internet, it's very difficult for me draw boundary that one.
Terrific. Any last things you'd like to add before we close down this forum, George?
I think especially for the beginners that might be listening, I think stop and think before you start posting information. I think that's an important one. It's fun when you've got new technology, it's all brand new and your friends are doing it, but stop and think a little bit down the track. What could this mean? How can somebody use this information against me? What if you're going for a job later on There's a lot of people around the world where they've posted things on Facebook over the years, but a few years down the track, maybe their boss has seen something and all of a sudden they thought, no, I don't want to employ this person. I've seen what they got up to or their thoughts, what they posted in the past. Keep that in mind, because once things are released onto the internet, it's very hard for them to disappear.
Yes, I believe lots of people have lost their jobs posting on Facebook when they're supposed to be homesick in bed. Lloyd, any last thoughts for you?
Yeah, in addition to George's, that you got one problem, please you share him. You know all the time with him. If you got anything that affected you through the internet, someone been cyberbullying you, you must share it with him or parents do especially, and talk to with him people. You know all the time you want to know, and always please common sense. No matter what, never respond to all email when you say send a family.
Thank you very much, Lloyd. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps us up here this afternoon. You've done very well, lads. Thank you very much, Lloyd Vigiasa, who's the Chief Legal Officer for TRR, and George Curtis, who's the Security Officer or Works and Liaison Officer with for the Government of Vanuatu. Thank you very much.
As he watched the lights unfold, I heard him say, I
Gentlemen, ready ya? Dua.
Sí. Are you fasting, man? Huh? You fasting? No, Belgium, ha? Olha. Ha? Ikan pakliu. Belgium.
Baligo. Musik gede ya, Pak?
No.
Suena? ¿Sí suena?